It was a cold way to get it done, but the Chiefs have already knocked out one animal family in the Miami Dolphins, and now they get another one with the Buffalo Bills coming and getting into their faces in Buffalo. That's going to be the next matchup we found out this evening. Thanks for being with us live here on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are recording this live for you, and our reaction to what the Chiefs are going to face, we're going to run it down for you. What does the defense have to take away? What can the offense do to continue to have balance? And what do those Bills look like? We have a great show for you. We are brought to you today by LinkedIn. If you want to get the right candidates for your small business, the only way to do it is to go to LinkedIn Jobs and get what you want faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That is linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. There are always conditions that apply, and our text line is going to help you out. That it's 816-357-8781 to get signed up. Go ahead and check that out, and welcome. We are on the YouTube podcast platform for all of Locked On Chiefs, Locked On Network. All of us are here for free and easy. If you would like and sub and hit the bell here on YouTube, we would appreciate it. Check out Spotify and Apple and every single platform for your audio needs. You can get us there 5 days a week free. Plus, I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, as well as NFL33.com for all your team building needs, including the offseason, and RGR Football if you want more breakdowns on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is my partner, Chris Clark, who runs Chiefs Corner. He's going to give you all the quarterback information you want and all the capology that you need. But that's for a later time, because right now, Chris, we have a divisional opponent all set up and ready to go.
Yeah, finally know that the Chiefs are going to play the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night, and it looks like it's a 5:30 kickoff Central Time. So just to let everybody know, that game is going to be a good one. And this is, remember back a couple of years ago, the Chiefs beat the Bills in the divisional round in Arrowhead. Now it's time to go to Buffalo and see if you can win. And it's kind of crazy. I don't know if you saw the game or were able to see the stands. There were no seats that were available in that game. The snow was covering the seats, which is going to bring a interesting perspective if that's the case again next week.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with how they got out and got the shoveling done. Tons and tons of snow there, right as you hit Buffalo itself. Kudos. I don't
said almost
think
40 inches.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous volumes, right? And I took a quick look, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that kind of day out there a week from now. So knock on wood, or 6 days, whatever it technically is. So cross our fingers. It shouldn't be that much to move through. It'll still be cold, I'm sure. It is winter in New York. That's what's going to happen. But the Chiefs are coming, despite playing in cold themselves, super hot. The offense was churning. It was efficient. They ran the ball. They had some balance. We're going to talk about that and how they have to double down on it here coming up. And the defense played out of their minds against a team that has some significant athleticism to throw with them. The Bills are a different kind of athleticism. I think one that is a little bit more attuned to attacking the Kansas City Chiefs, particularly in the run game. But I think that this is the matchup everybody wanted. And I personally am a little bit relieved, because I don't want to hear hey, you got the easy run and you got to play the Steelers at home, and then the Ravens lost. And so Chiefs didn't have to do anything to go back to a Super Bowl. Like, I don't want to hear that. I'm not here for that. So I'm glad to see that the road is going to go through Buffalo.
Well, at least this game. And it still could end up in Kansas City for the AFC Championship. We will see how that game turns out in Baltimore and what the Texans can do. Obviously, if the Chiefs get past Buffalo, they'll know before they kick off whether or not they're going to be playing at home if they win, or if they're going to be playing on the road if they win. So that's going to be something to watch. There's a lot to talk about when you start looking at this Buffalo team. They had another injury to their linebacker core. I think they're down all of their linebackers now. Whether or not he's able to go, it didn't sound like it was broke, so it's possible he's able to go. But on 6 days rest, that's going to be a quick turnaround. Kansas City gets 2 extra days rest because they played on Saturday. That is going to play into things as well. We didn't get any updates on injuries, so we have no idea how that's going to turn out. But I would imagine that Wanya Morris is going to be back. Whether or not he's going to be starting is another issue.
That is a very fair point. And just from the initial glance, knowing that this is what it's going to come down to, it's another chance for the Reaper to come out. And I still refer to him like that. It's up on my channel that way because this is a head-to-head matchup that I think really sings to what the NFL wants, but how we all want to see it happen. Head-to-head against a guy who's in your echelon. Is he as good as Patrick Mahomes? No, but he's in the same tier.
Yeah, and did you see the picture of the part of his helmet that got cut out?
Oh, I did.
It looks like the Reaper. Kind of funny
really
how that turns out.
For those of you looking for the merch, you can go find it at the RGR store. It's available.
Yeah,
but
it is crazy.
That head-to-head matchup, obviously, that's going to be the marquee. We're going to talk about it all week long.
Yep.
But it's the run games of both teams that I think are going to be the next thing down, and then whoever's defense can show up more consistently like they were in the regular season.
And I think that you have to look at this game and go, okay, well, they didn't have Tranquil against the Buffalo Bills the last time. That's going to be a big key. He plays fantastic defense for this Chiefs team. The other thing, and a lot of people didn't really talk about it, and I don't think we really touched on it, but I do think that the end zone, the frozen end zone in Arrowhead gave the Chiefs some trouble when they were trying to score. That's why they kicked all the field goals going that direction. So I do think that plays into it. The Chiefs, I think, offensively looked like they were playing a lot better, but when you're not able to cut as a wide receiver and you're trying to get open, it is very hard to do. And that end zone that they were going to on those 4 field goals was frozen solid. So I do think that plays into it. I think the Chiefs offense has shown that they're playing better, and I guarantee you the Chiefs defense is better than what the Buffalo Bills are going to be trying out there. Just the reality of it. I don't know if they're going to have Rasul Douglas. That's going to be a big question going into this game. But Elam had an interception in this game. It was kind of funny. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were talking about him, and then Elam goes off and gets an interception right after. But Buffalo could have lost that game. I mean, it could have been a lot closer than it ended up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And Elam and McNuffie are guys that were taken, and there was rumor about wanting each other, teams wanting the other. So that they're always going to be linked. We're going to talk about that coming up later in the show in the third segment. But next, what do they have to get to? How do they attack, particularly that field as we saw today, and make sure that the offense puts up enough points to get the job done? We're going to do that right after this.
At the start of the new year, every business owner is asking themselves the same question. What's the one move I can make that'll take my business to the next level in 2024? LinkedIn Jobs knows that your success all depends on the team you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Go find your who on LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and may not have the time or resources to hire. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
I think one of the keys that was really given away here by the Buffalo Bills on Monday night here on the Locked On Podcast Network, that means your team every day. And we have to take those takeaways to heart. And that was, you have to be able to bring some balance to your offense. The Chiefs did that against the Dolphins. I think the inclement weather helps Andy Reid stay a little bit more focused on the run. I think it is a default situation that he does go to. But I think I was really taken away by some of the plays that were able to be made in that game against the Steelers, despite all the cold and despite all the snow. The touchdown clue had was a great cut, was able to move on that field with pretty much ease. And so between Isaiah Pacheco pounding the ground and what the wide receivers are going to have to do, I feel pretty confident that the field conditions are not going to be a problem for the Chiefs.
Yeah, as long as the Bills have the field covered like I believe they had for this past game, I fully expect that you're correct. I think that it's going to be a situation where the field is going to be in good shape. Whether or not snow happens, that's not out of the question, obviously, in Buffalo. this time of year, so it's possible that they'll be dealing with snow. But we won't know that until closer to kickoff time. We're recording this on Monday. They don't play till Sunday, so weather always changes. But I'm looking forward to this game because you start talking about the Chiefs offense and what they're going to be able to do against the Bills. They looked like in this past game that they started to figure some things out. The one thing that they still can't do, and this is going to be something they have to address in the offseason, is they have to find a deep threat that they can get chemistry with Mahomes on a regular basis where he can hit him and he knows the guy is going to do what he needs to do. They still don't have that, but they can win without that against the Buffalo Bills. Their offense is playing better than it played the last time they played them, and that's a big key. And the Bills' defense is even more banged up than they were the last time. So I do think that's going to play into Kansas City's advantage on offense.
Yeah, you'll get no argument from me. And I will say this, as frustrating as it has been, I do feel that the part of the answer, at least, is continuing to throw the ball to Mecole Hardman. The infuriating parts of not finishing routes and getting lost in the lights and whatever the circumstance is, I understand that. But eventually, the numbers just rely that he will pop something enormous for you because he has that big explosive play capability every time he's out there.
It's funny you mentioned Mecole Hardman and you mentioned the lights specifically because that won't be an issue this week. The Chiefs' lights supposedly have been an issue for deep balls. Well, they're not going to be playing in Kansas City, so lights shouldn't be an issue. We'll see how that works out. I'm not really sure, but Mecole Hardman needs to do better when he's playing, going for deep routes, and he needs to finish the route regardless of whether or not he gets held. He needs to go for the ball. That's the only way he's going to get calls on deep balls where he's getting held. And that's just reality. I mean, that's the same for MBS. It's the same for anybody that takes a deep route. If you're going to want to get the call, you have to run through it. And they need to get Mecole involved, but get him involved in the middle of the field. Get him involved. And we talked about this in the first segment. With the linebackers out, with all the starting linebackers out potentially for the Bills, you're going to be in a situation where you should be able to take advantage of the middle of the field. Use that to your advantage. Use Travis Kelce, use Rashee Rice, use all of your weapons in the middle of the field, and then you can start hitting them on the sides, but get them going and trying to cover the middle before you have to worry about the rest.
Seams, quick posts, low crossers, the whole 9 yards. The middle of the field is going to be a key. And the other side of it is that you have to continue to do what you've been doing. You have to run, and you have to run power blocking schemes. They're very efficient when they pulled guys and played power. You can run some man gap, just straight ahead blocking. You can do that against this team as well. You're going to have some stray plays where someone beats you one-on-one, though. Ed Oliver might make a play, or Russo might beat a block. But if you run the power schemes, it allows Isaiah Pacheco to do what he does best, in my opinion, and that is just hammer through a gap and take it as far as he can take it. He's not going to make a ton of guys miss. So you're not trying to get it just to the edge and let him do his thing, right? You need to set it up for it. I think that that's something over the last couple of ball games with the full offense out there, at least, maybe not against the Chargers, that they've started to really take to heart. And so I expect that to be doubled down. He got 24 carries last week. I expect that to be very, very similar. If it does, then I think that gets them a win.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble. I'm not so sure that that's going to happen in this game. And the reason I say that is because I don't know that they're going to run 24 times. And I think that the scenario in that game, they were up so far, that's why they ran the ball. If they get up on the Bills, maybe you see them running the ball that much. I still think he gets 20 carries, but I don't think you're going to get 30 carries overall is really where I'm going with that. I do think that they're going to still try to attack. And Andy Reid surprised everybody. I don't think anybody – and I said this before the last game against the Dolphins. I did not expect them to come out and pass the ball like they did. That was a surprise to me. The Bills are going to be expecting that they're going to do that. So I think they're going to be a little bit more ready for it than the Dolphins. But I still think that they're going to take advantage of what they have, which is the best QB in football, and Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with you. I was surprised as well. And I mean, it's funny now, he got the nickname Showtime early in his career, and I don't think that's going to stick. I don't think anybody refers to him like that anymore. I'm calling him Mr. Freeze now because Cole does not bother him.
He loves it. Seems to love it.
And the Reaper tag. Yeah, that's what you got to have. So I do feel that balance there, maybe you're right. Maybe they don't get to 30 carries, but here's the thing. They only ran 5 play action plays against the Dolphins. And that is something that I think they need to do more of. And so that is predicated, I believe, to make that more convincible to run a similar amount. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's only 20 carries for Pacheco. That's still above my magic number of 16 that they have to actually use it enough to make it work. So either way, I'm going to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if they are running the ball, if they are able to run the ball early, or even if they're playing a game where they're going back and forth with the Bills, I think play action is going to become a bigger part of it. I'll go back and say I think they ran the ball as much as they did because they were up so big in the second half, and they just weren't going to throw the ball and give them a chance to turn anything over. They felt very comfortable with the running backs running the ball, and they were getting yardage. They were getting the yardage they needed, so it really didn't matter. The one thing I will say, when you start talking about power and how big of a game that this Chiefs offensive line is going to have, Trey Smith had one of the best games of his career. He was just out of his mind, physical with Christian Wilkins. Don't get me wrong, Wilkins beat him once or twice, but he played fantastic against Christian Wilkins, and I think Wilkins is better than Ed Oliver. So I'm really excited about this matchup.
Yeah, and I think it should be. And folks, for those of you that are waiting for free agency, Christian Wilkins is at the top of my list of free agent targets. If they have to move on from Chris Jones, it's Christian Wilkins that I want to see in that spot. So just keep an eye on that as well. What do they do to live up to what they've set the tone already? That defense came out bigger than I think we ever imagined. They got to back it up with another performance, right? It's going to be different. There's certainly no ways around it, but they got to come ready. And honestly, a little pissed off. How do they do that? Coming up next. And I got to tell you, there's plenty of ways to get in the action. There's going to be a lot of action in this upcoming game. The NFL regular season is out the door, and now it is full-on playoff mode. You can get in that action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers are getting $150 back in bonus bets just for laying a first bet. It's guaranteed with a $5 bet anytime. That's $150 back on a $5 bet, win or lose. It makes super, super easy to get into the action. You can check same game parlays. That's multiple players in a singular game. You can get into the new tab for exploring where all the bets are. You can parlay. There's a whole hub for it at this point and find all the popular parlays. Plus, you have the props and the lines and everything that you're used to. If you want to get into the action now, it's the time to do it because nothing's better than playoff football. Get to FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a slam dunk or a layup or whatever you're looking to do, maybe a touchdown. But it's at FanDuel.com/lockedon for FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. And then once you're there, you're going to find a way to escape from reality below. Get caught up in the moment and use football for what that's for. And I think a lot of people do that, and it's worth the time. It's an interesting time that you want to be prepared for right now. The winter months, it's been bitterly cold. A lot of stuff going on that you might want to be prepared for medically. And if you don't want to feel helpless, if you want to be prepared, whether your kids get sick or there's just, low medication somewhere, Jase Medical is here to give you a hand. They have a great program. It's called the Jase Case. It's 5 different antibiotics that set you up to be able to treat bacterial infections, illnesses, respiratory, the whole 9 yards. And you can have it all on hand in case any of this happens to you. Visit jasemedical.com and complete your physician encounter. Then it'll be reviewed by a board-certified physician. You'll be able to be stamped off on that, and an actual licensed pharmacy will fill those orders and get them over to you at a fraction of their regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared, especially in this weather. Go to jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com and use our code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your order. Now, bringing the fire is exactly what you got to do when you're trying to get ready for a playoff run. And we're going to have a crossover coming up with Joe Marino. Matt Derrick will be with us tomorrow, and we're going to preview the whole ball game for you on Friday. So don't miss everything because we are 5 days a week here on Locked On Chiefs, as well as the rest of the Locked On Podcast Network. And if you want to see even more, you can get in the text line at 816-357-8781. You can also go over to the Locked On Sports Today feed, which is 24/7 of a bunch of our shows. You're going to see plenty of us over there, as well as a lot of the other big shows that you want to know about right now in playoff season. The Chiefs need to know about all of that as well. And they need to honestly, I think, just kind of look around, find something. Pull a Tom Brady is what I'm saying. And I think it should come from L'Jarius Sneed. Find something to pseudo piss you off and keep that angry tilt. L'Jarius Sneed probably played the best game of his career against a guy that knows him pretty well and was still able to raise his game. I think the whole defense has to take that on and really step up to the plate of that imaginary slight that Tom Brady always used and Michael Jordan before him, and take whatever that is so that you can come into that game ready to lay it down against the Buffalo Bills.
Funny enough, did you see what Tyreek Hill said about Sneed after the game?
No.
Yeah. He used a different word, but I'll just say it this way. He sent his butt to Cancun.
I mean, hey, it happens.
Yeah, no, it really does, and that's a phenomenal thing. And there was I saw another tweet yesterday, and Chris Jones, somebody said pay Sneed over Chris Jones, and Chris Jones said pay the man. Interestingly enough, in reply to the tweet, so Jones is on board as well as paying Sneed. So I think that you're going to have to look, and that's going to be a conversation for the offseason. We'll get to that eventually. But I do think that that's going to be a conversation you're going to have. But Sneed is a guy that obviously everybody in Kansas City seems to love. That defense loves him, and the way he plays, the fire that he plays with, his desire to just go after people and get in their face and be physical. The entire defense plays off that, and I do think that's a fantastic thing for the Chiefs to build on going into the playoff or going into this game against the Bills. I will also say I don't think that they're going to lose their chip that they had on their shoulder. I really do think that they had a chip on their shoulder going into that game against the Dolphins, just knowing that they had been playing basically like crap for the past 6 games offensively. Defensively, they still played pretty well, but offensively, they had not played well for quite a while, and they could be the number 1 seed potentially, but they easily could have been the number 2 seed with just a victory against the Bills.
Yeah. I mean, the defense has got to bring that fire, and I agree with you. They should be able to keep that chip on their shoulder. They should be able to come in and be ready to go with it. I'm looking forward to it because I think that's what sets the tone. And you said the magic word, physicality. And it's not just Sneed. It's got to be the front, because I think the one thing that you're scared of probably is the run game with Cook and Josh Allen. I think they will plan for Josh to take it himself. They will call design runs. I think maybe more so than we saw the last time these two teams met, because they've been successful with it. And I think they think that that's probably the weakest part of this Chiefs defense, which is probably still accurate. It's just it's nowhere near as weak as it used to be. So it is about bringing that physicality and hitting them right off the go.
It's true that it's the weakness, but I still do not understand why in 2024 we are talking about a team that's willing to sacrifice their quarterback long term. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing if they're going to call designed runs against this defense, really in January or anytime. I mean, when you're asking his body to take the punishment that he's going to take against any defense that he plays, it's going to be something that's going to affect him long term. But we're talking about this week. I do think that the Chiefs defense showed physicality. They showed that they were tougher than the Dolphins. I hate saying this, but I don't really think that that's a huge thing for them to put a feather in their cap on. The Dolphins look soft the entire season, so it is what it is there. The Bills have shown they can be physical, so that's going to be another type of situation where you have to go out and you have to give it your all, and you have to go hit as hard as you possibly can, and you have to take it to the team. The Bills are definitely going to be motivated. This is their first home game that they're going to be hosting the Chiefs. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to break it all down for you tomorrow with Matt Derrick from inside the building, as well as the crossover and coming to our preview later in the week. So don't miss a show. We are here 5 days a week, not just during the season. We're going to do it all season long after the Chiefs win this next Super Bowl. So be prepared, and we're going to be here for you constantly. We appreciate you guys spending your time with us today. It's going to be a wild ride, and we'll hear a lot about the quarterbacks in the coming days, but be ready. Chiefs Bills is coming at you. Thanks for listening today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.